Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just getting the VXR ready for a track day. So I've got a few things turned up now. I've got the new rear brake discs. Gonna put them on because the other ones are toast. And got some new pads, front and rear. And I've had to go for the EBC orange stuff. Let's put the camera down so it's not so shaky. So I've gone for the EBC orange stuff. They're not too bad. They're not the best or anything, but on a standard caliper, they're kind of like, that's the front rear comparison. So with the pad and disc change, I'm doing a brake fluid upgrade. This has got a roughly a higher boiling point of roughly 100 degrees. So that increases your brake fade resistance. And I got a little bit more oil for topping up. That's what I'm running in the car. It's quite a high viscosity oil, 1550. And general rule of thumb is the higher viscosity, the more bearing protection you're going to get. That's a bit of a rough guide, but yeah, get the gist. And that's these are just the rear discs, so they're not vented. J-hook groove, which is meant to be help for a bit of initial bite. Anyway, time to throw them on. And can you see? Get the handbrake cable out of the way, then you can remove the caliper. And I like to crack the bleed nipple off and then slightly crimp the brake hose and then wind the piston back by hand. And by cracking the bleed nipple off, it makes it much easier to wind it back. You're not forcing the old fluid back out, so it kind of like, it's like a brake flush all at once. It's a rear disc, messed up. When you got the disc off, everything is sand up with some 120 grit emery tape or something similar, and then just a really light coat of copper grease once you've sanded it smooth. Copper grease on the edges, tiny amounts, not too much. Okay, so that's the pads in, disc on. Bleed nipple's still loose, all the bolts are tight. Handbrake cable's back in. Just this one nut on the back, 13 to do up, wherever that's. Okay, so all bolts are tight. Handbrake cable's all clipped in. You can see that runs under there. And then I just like to pop the turtle-nose pliers off, and then you should start to see fluid pop out of the. Where's my finger? Yeah, it's fluid just starting to pop out now. Okay. Just need to clean this side. Done. So yeah, once you get the handbrake cable out of the way, then you can get the caliper up, and then you've just got to, like I said, I like to back the bleed nipple out, turn on those pliers on, just lightly crimp the hose, that way you can let the fluid escape, and then you just wind it back in. And before you put your caliper carrier on, just make sure your sliding pins are all nice and free, like that. And if they're good, just clean everything up and put it all back together. Rear brake's all done, all bled up, all flushed the lines. So the other ones there and there. So with this side, all good. And I cleaned up on the wheel here because that was where it was seized on the edge. So just the front pads to throw in and a quick flush of the front lines, and that's it. Okay, so we've done the back end brake fluid flush and changed the discs and pads out, and now we're moving on to the front. We're just changing the pads only and then going to flush the fluid because the discs are actually quite new. So it should be a lot quicker and easier because these wheels have been off as well. They won't be seized on like the other lot. So yeah. So here all we do is we're using a 7mm Allen key, and it's just 2 pins out the back and get them off, and then the caliper just slides up. Basically it's all good. Old pads out. It's really quite a quick, simple job. If you're not changing your discs, it's really, yeah, it's nice and easy. New pads, a little bit of copper grease on the ears where they slide in. Just helps stop any little bit of friction and a little bit of vibration. I've always done it, just small amounts, and never had any problem. It's always, my brake's always squeak free. 7mm pins back up, done. This the little Stanley ratchet there, that batch ratchet is really handy. It's one of the best tools I've ever bought, probably. And now a quick brake fluid flush. Yep, it's sucking in, drawing in the new fluid, and putting on the caliper spring. Tap that on. Check everything over. Basically good to go now. It's the pad upgrade, fluid upgrade. And like I said earlier, with the new fluid, I think this the number on the fluid 625, that represents the Fahrenheit dry boiling point. So yeah, it's like I say, it's 100 degrees higher than a standard .4, give or take. Okay guys, thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, helps me out. Hit the like. Cheers, see ya.